Welcome to the Oh Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
Good to see you, Dan. How you doing?
Good, man. So we're coming at you with what we would call a regular Oh Brother episode here. It's been a
Yeah.
little while. We had a tribute out to the old man here recently. So
Yeah,
that
and
was
that
on
could
the
have gone
channel.
on for an hour
It could have, yeah.
easily.
There'll be a follow-up, I'm sure, volume 2, 3, 4, so forth. But so this episode is top 5 hits. Now, what do we mean when we say top 5 hits?
Top 5 hit songs,
No,
top 5 hit movies.
no.
I don't know. Then I'm stumped.
Top 5 hits.
You're looking
And
at
bada
kill.
boom, you got
Bada boom! You
Exactly.
Now love you a nice Ivy League suit.
right. So, and this was your
This was my
brainchild.
brainchild.
So if this goes in the tank,
It's for
then
me. It's all on
folks,
me.
This is this Mike's been itching to get on the mic to
I
talk
have.
about this one. Yeah,
I
this
have.
topic. And I sort of changed
Dan-
it up on you last minute. I threw in some different criterion parameters
Okay.
because you were coming in. Remember, we just talked about this yesterday. You were talking about mafia hits,
Correct.
which is what most people think about.
Correct.
But I thought, well, let's not limit ourselves to just
Right.
mafia hits. It's like
Although
top
mine wound up being
okay, but top 5 deaths.
yeah.
Let's just say, right?
And I like I would not count, we're both fans of Halloween, right? But I wouldn't count that, slasher flicks. That's not the kind of kills. We're talking like kills that make you jump or you know, those other like Scanners where the guy's head blows up. Those aren't the
Well,
kind of hits.
Leave that for us to decide.
All
or
right.
and leave that for the audience.
I think
to
I just
decide.
tipped off one of your movies.
No, I'm saying leave that for the audience to decide
Yeah.
because they may disagree with you.
right.
know,
I'm
if we're-
curious.
It's
after
top
this-
5 deaths, period.
Right. And I'm
Hits.
curious to see
wax.
what people will come
Yeah.
back at us with.
Yeah, listen, for those of you that are not currently following us, there's a few ways you can follow us, really, right?
Mhm.
First thing is we're very active on Instagram. So hit us up out there at OHB Podcast. You can see that under my name there.
Make
And
sure you go to Dan's account.
Mike's got his own Instagram too, if you want to follow him out there as well. Follow us on YouTube, which is at Oh Brother Podcast. That's the channel. And so you can go out to youtube.com/Oh Brother Podcast. You'll find us out there. And, we appreciate everybody that's already subscribed to the channel, has been supporting us out there. But we've got weekly episodes. We got a lot of first look movie trailer reaction videos out there. And
I want to give a shout out to Emily,
yes,
our former production
our
assistant.
original,
The original.
the OG.
Right.
A big thanks to Emily Villadero. She always comes through for us in a pinch.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so she was there for us. Want to also give a shout out to our most recent intern, Andrew.
He did a great job.
Andrew Lichter, who just really kind of raised the bar.
And Dan's the one who does all the communicating because I'm so inept with technology, which is amazing because I was so far ahead of the bar
Yeah.
and then it just went right past me.
You slipped right underneath the bar.
I slipped right under the bar, but Dan takes care of all of the arrangements. He still has to do some of the downloads. He does so Dan, hands up. In fact, my number one movie today is a tribute to you.
Oh, well, all right. I appreciate that.
Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
All right.
But we want to shout out to Noemi, who's our current production assistant. This is going to be one of her first
Assignments.
episodes. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. And you'll see what she's bringing to the show. So we're excited to be working with her all through the summer.
Yep.
But all right, let's get into top 5
Let's
hits.
do it.
This is
do
your baby. So you kick this sucker off.
Okay.
Is this in any particular order? Or you just kind of.
Yeah, I'm going to go
all right.
5-1.
Okay. I don't
So-
necessarily have it that way, but okay.
That's fine.
I can maybe quickly kind of rearrange.
I want to do two quick
Get into it.
honorable mentions that were in my top 5, and then I yanked them for various reasons.
Okay.
The first being Pulp Fiction.
Ooh.
And which
Good
kill? I mean, there's a lot of kills.
Yeah, there's a lot of kills.
A lot of deaths.
You could have easily said Reservoir Dogs, which maybe is on your list. We'll see.
That's right. that was another one that
I mean,
was on
any
the
Kill
list.
Bill, any Quentin Tarantino film
Correct.
almost, right?
And the only issue I have with Quentin Tarantino is his overuse of the N word. It's
Mm,
unnecessary, I think. Other than that, he's a great director. But Pulp Fiction, and I'm talking specifically where it's at the beginning where Vinny Vega and I forget what Sam Jackson's
Vinny
name
Vega.
is.
We have the meat. Is
Yeah,
that his
no,
voice?
that's
Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
isn't Vinny Vega, sorry, okay.
yeah,
You threw
it's
me off with
John
the
Travolta.
V's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
John
sorry,
Travolta.
Vinny Vega, yeah, yeah.
So in Pulp Fiction, they go to, something screwed up. They got to get this suitcase with the gold glow,
Right.
and they go in, and Sam Jackson's munching on the guy's hamburger. And can I try? Can I have that beverage? Oh,
Uh-huh.
thanks. And there's a guy on the sofa that's asleep. And at one point, he's talking, and just like out of nowhere, he shoots the guy on the sofa, and he's like, "Do I have your attention now?"
Right.
When we got into this thing with the best intentions, really. I never.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Great, great.
And
shot.
wasn't that the scene with, like, the Seinfeld lookalike in that sequence? There's a guy hiding he's in the bathroom while that happens.
Right, right. And at the end of the scene, both of them are just it's just a view of them
Unloading
the
into the kid, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so gratuitous, it's not
So
even funny.
that was one that was
Okay.
originally on off. The other one I
Okay.
just want to say real quick is Public Enemy.
Hmm.
And this is because of my love of black and white and the old
Edward G.
movies.
Robinson?
No, this is James Cagney.
Or am I thinking of Scarface?
Yeah,
Is
James
that
Cagney.
Yeah.
No, Scarface was somebody else.
Who was Edward G. Robinson? Wasn't he in one of those
Oh,
big
yeah, he was in Double Indemnity.
Yeah, but I mean, was he not in one of those,
Yeah, he was when he was a big
leading
star.
Yeah.
Like Double Indemnity was like a supporting part for him,
Right, yeah, it's a great film.
and it's
In Mike's
fantastic.
top 5, yeah. All right.
Definitely.
Not
No.
hits, but yeah, go ahead.
But anyways, in Public Enemy, there's two things I love about a hit or a death. When there's nothing, just silence, and it happens,
Hmm.
or I like a death that I don't see, as opposed, and to explain that, it's like
Like your own, for example.
like I'm dying right now.
Yeah.
But in the movie, he's a gangster,
Mhm.
and he's in the hospital. His brother Michael and his mom are by his side, and he's like, "Ma," James Cagney always has a mother.
Don't need to do the accents, but go ahead.
Oh, I didn't think I did.
They always end up sounding like the same
Yeah.
guy.
But in cream eggs from Cadbury.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But look, inside sits a sweet, creamy yellow yolk surrounded by delicious white filling. Cream eggs from Cadbury. Why, they're the best thing to come along since the Easter Bunny. And when he's gone, they're gone.
The Cream Eggs by Cadbury.
So James Cagney tells his mother, "I'm giving it all up. No more mob. I'm going straight." He's in the hospital, like in a full body cast.
Mhm.
And then they cut, and the mother's making the beds, and she's all happy and so proud that her son's going to be coming home. And his brother Michael is at downstairs, and the door knocks. He opens the door, and there's Cagney all tied up in rope. I mean, you could barely see just his eyes.
Mhm.
And you're like, okay, what's that? And all of a sudden, he just does a splat, and there was no cushion, like they do today. He just bang hits the floor, and obviously the mob killed him because he said he wanted to go straight.
Yes.
Those are my two honorable
Special
mentions.
delivery for the mother. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So get to your actual list.
Okay.
Let's move it along here, folks.
let's start right now with this is number 5. Remember?
Oh, see, now this is interesting because we can't go one for one like this because I'm not going to show my digital collection. But go ahead.
No, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
not fair.
Mike
But
pulling out
I had
the
them.
physical media.
One of the things we talked about is let's make it movies we own
Correct.
in one form or another.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
So that's a
these are
caveat.
these are movies in our collection. Yeah.
Correct. So I picked Fredo's death. Now,
Okay.
why? Because two of the things I just mentioned. Now we see Fredo out. This is the very end, and this is obviously
Don't need to recount the entire sequence.
right. But I'm just saying this is the
Yeah.
end. It's not a spoiler because everybody's seen it.
Most people have seen it, but
So you see
many
him. He goes out fishing, and Michael's kid was supposed to be with him, and at the last minute they pull him out. So it's just him and Al Neary, and
it's Hal.
you see the silhouette, and then it cuts to Michael in the beach house. You hear a gunshot. Michael's head just goes down. They go back to the silhouette, and all you see is Al Neary.
Mm-hmm.
Terrific, fantastically directed, great hit.
Good one.
All right.
Good one. Are we going back and forth, or should you
Yeah.
just give your list? And all right.
Well, it's up to you.
I mean, whatever. All right.
Because
So,
I bet we're gonna have a double or two.
well, maybe we'll make this quick, okay? Because on my list, Godfather 2.
okay.
Okay.
With a
Hold on.
specific. Okay.
Can I finish?
Can I have
Can
a
I
minute here?
finish?
Can I finish?
Godfather 2. Now, I actually had two. So since you already listed one of them, which is the Fredo hit,
So you had that on your list.
I did have it on my list. But believe it or not, before this, before the Fredo hit, I had a different one on my list. The one that I like, for similar reasons, is the very classic sequence in which I forget the other henchman's name. You mentioned Hal Neary, which was he was in all three of the Godfathers, actually, surprisingly. But this was the other henchman that worked for Michael Corleone.
Right.
Is the scene where one of Hyman Roth, right, who is the head of one of the families in Miami, right?
He's like the big guy.
Yeah, he's like the big guy. And his right-hand man, his henchman, is played by none other than Dominic Giannese from Sopranos fame, who played
Ton
Uncle
of Sopranos stuff here.
Yeah, he was played Uncle Junior.
Mhm.
And it's the scene where he's out on the balcony of the hotel.
Mhm.
And there's this little subtle gust of wind, and then the curtains
Wonderful.
blow. Curtains blow out, and as they come back in, it's the old, wire around the neck, and then he
Yep.
gets choked out. It's just a beautiful sequence.
I think it was a coat hanger he was using.
Was it a coat hanger?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Beautiful sequence.
Fantastic.
Just brilliant, classic. And again, understated, right? We don't need the blood and guts and gore
Right.
and everything. It's
Like-
more suggestive,
Like when I was pitching you this idea, I brought up Mo Green.
Yeah,
who
who
people-
again I met in a bar.
That's
Anyways.
right. Dan has his autograph actually to me. And
That's
then
true.
I gave it back to you
That's true.
because but anyway, that's one of the ones where he puts his glass on, they shoot him through the eye. You see everything. It's not as dramatic.
Yeah.
That was the killing of the 5 families from film 1, but we could do all 10 from Godfather 1 through 3.
Yes.
But I think that's a great choice that you made. So
yeah.
back to me.
Yeah. And that was my first out of that and the Fredo. So it worked out perfectly.
So this is it's not open because I have
Yeah.
2 other copies, but
Okay. So Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. Now,
Yeah. Good one.
the death or the kill, Joe Pesci is trying to negotiate peace with these other gang members, and they make a deal to meet in these cornfields. Remember, they always met in weird places.
Mhm.
Leave the gun, take the cannoli. That's a typical.
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
go to the mattresses kind of thing. It's the death where they killed Joe Pesci. I forget his character's name. I think it's Santoro, or that's maybe his last name. They're going to kill him and his brother. And these are like his closest guys. So they get to the cornfield. They already got the grave dug. So what they do is, I forget his name, and you would know him, Sopranos guy, hits him with a bat.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're making a huge faux pas here, I have to say.
Okay, why? Because of the
Now-
one I picked?
This shows how simpatico Mike and I are, first of all, because this is also on my list.
It is.
Yes, however, it is not Goodfellas. This is from the movie Casino,
Casino, right.
which are so it's
It
hard to a lot of the
exactly.
same actors, and so
And if we had more time, I would have done that as an honorable mention. So, but
yeah,
you'll describe it.
but you held up Goodfellas.
I held up Goodfellas, I'm sticking with it. I'll tell you why.
Oh, but you're talking about Casino. The scene you're describing is in Casino, not Goodfellas.
Because the other one, he's in a room, he thinks he's gonna become a made man.
Yeah, I just watched Casino.
Okay, so I confused the 2.
So we that's what I'm saying. We have the same pick here. It's the same
Okay.
hit. It's
So
the same hit.
Scorsese,
Yeah, it's Pesci who plays Nicky
right,
Santoro and
right,
his brother Dominic,
correct,
and they bring him out to the cornfield. Like you said, the hole's already dug.
right.
They go 9 innings on the brother Dominic, put him in the
Why?
hole
And they
while Pesci's
purposely,
watching.
they purposely keep
Yes.
Pesci alive
That's right, to witness his
to
brother's
watch,
death.
and all he is doing is sobbing about,
Yeah.
"Oh,
So I
my."
love how we said the previous, like The Godfather hits are very understated. This, folks, was not. If you have not seen it, again, this is spoiler alert city here on this episode, but there you go. Right behind you, you
We
had
could
it.
fix that, right?
You had it. All right. So yeah, and so
Graphic,
it's
like, I
Vince. Isn't it Vincent something or other? Is the actor's name you're talking about from The Sopranos?
yeah.
Wonderful actor.
Lorraine Bracco this is Goodfellas.
Right.
I mean, they all kind of studied together.
So we're 2 for 2 here on the hits list.
Yeah, well, yeah.
We're 2 for 2.
So let me go with another one that you might
All right.
have.
This is Mike's top 3 hit, folks.
Okay, this is the third. Now, are yours in any order? Or you're just
No,
okay.
I'm saving one, but yeah.
Okay. So this is one I've always said to you. I think it's the best 20 minutes of film cinema of all time. Can you guess it from that?
I should know it right off the top of my head. I think I do know it, and I think it's a Clint Eastwood film.
It is.
Yeah, it's directed by Clint Eastwood, and it is Unforgiven, folks.
Unforgiven. So Clint's character finds out that they killed Morgan Freeman, and
They didn't just kill him.
yeah,
They put him out on
posted him
display
on right,
outside the bar.
exactly.
Yeah.
So Clint Eastwood walks into the bar.
Clint
And
Eastwood plays the infamous William Money.
okay, thanks. He walks in, and they're all talking about how they're going to hunt him down.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's standing right there. And where the 20 minutes begins is a shot. It's one of the best directed
Mu-
shots of
yeah.
all time. You see the gun barrel lower.
It's
And
a
who owns this shithole?
yeah, it's the rifle, yeah, that he lowers.
Right.
Amazing.
Who's the fella owns this shithole?
The one guy,
I'm the proprietor of this establishment.
right? The rest of you all might want to get out of the way. And he just blasts them. And Gene Hackman goes crazy. Gene Hackman, who won an Academy Award for this role,
That's right. Who played
Goes-
little Bill Daggett?
Little Bill,
Little Bill.
goes nuts. You just killed an unarmed man. And he said, well, this fella, if he's going to decorate his saloon with my friend, he should arm himself.
Yeah,
Great
it's
line.
great. It's great. And keep in mind, Clint is directing this whole sequence of events,
Yeah, and he won
Wild
Best Director.
delivering one of the best performances in cinema history, quite
I
frankly.
don't think he was nominated, Dan. Can you believe that?
It's amazing. Yeah. That's
His acting, because he doesn't say a lot of things in the early days, and nobody's ever taken him really serious, but he is a fantastic actor.
Oh, he's amazing. And he was amazing back then. I mean, he was my John Wayne. So
Yeah.
growing up, I just was completely infatuated with his films and, his Westerns, of course.
And he's the one filmmaker I have every one of his films,
Mm-hmm.
either some are on DVD because they haven't made it to Blu-ray yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Few 4K, like the one I just showed, Unforgiven.
Mm-hmm.
And just all his I have everything, like everything he directed, like Bird,
Mm-hmm.
the jazz. He loves jazz, and he made a movie about
He's a
Um,
pretty accomplished pianist, I think, too.
yeah, like his
He's a pianist.
Malpaso
Yeah.
productions. He
Yeah.
does it all. But all right, on to you, Dan.
So, my number three, this is great because we can shorten the episode up here. My number three is a little film, also directed by Clint Eastwood, and that film, folks, is Unforgiven. And so, again, we're 3 for 3 out
And
of
this
the
is
gate.
unusual. We don't
Yeah.
necessarily
I
have the
get
same taste.
no, and I guarantee we're going to go off the rails after this, but
Yes.
it's the same thing, the same scene.
Yes.
I just watched it again, and it's just not. Really can't say anything more about it. If you have not seen Unforgiven, rush out and get it or find
And
it.
as
and
if
put it
I
on.
recall, you and your roommate went to the theater minimum a dozen times.
Yeah, and this was
Right.
one we would ramble off the lines and
Yeah,
in the
well,
house
there was a
constantly.
theater in Orlando that had $1 movie night, and you guys were there every night.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, you probably
Bra-
spent $20,
yeah.
which
Braveheart was one of those same films. Saw that
right, right.
20 times in the
You
theater.
guys, I would be like, "Guys, you've seen it 10 times."
Just one
And
more time.
and I'd be in the back seat, and you 2 would be doing the dialogue the
Yeah.
whole ride. But
Yeah.
anyway, so
All right,
number
Ford,
2,
you're second. Your
number 2,
top two hit.
close to being number 1,
Okay.
and I think it's Tom Hanks' most understated role,
Interesting.
one I think he should have been nominated for,
Oh,
Road to Perdition.
Okay.
Okay. How familiar? I know you've seen this
Yeah,
because
it's
we
been a
watched
long
it together.
time. So I won't. This will be kind of new coming back to me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is another mob movie basically where Tom Hanks' character works for the mob, and what happens is also starring next to him is Paul Newman.
Hmm. Right.
Daniel Craig plays Paul Newman's son.
Oh, I didn't.
See,
Wow.
did you realize that?
Wow.
He's the one who gets killed in the tub.
No, I see. I don't remember it enough.
Yeah. Well, there's the ending sequence, one of the most brilliantly directed. And if you don't have this movie, you can find it.
And is it Hanks carrying it out at the end? The
Yeah.
sequence you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell
See,
you
I
the
don't,
sequence
I
because
don't
it's
remember it.
brilliant.
Yeah.
But he's got a Tommy gun, right? And what happens in the movie, early in the movie, Daniel Craig kills a guy in this basement over
Mhm.
money, and Tom Hanks' son, Michael, a lot of Michaels
A
here.
lot of Michael references.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael snuck to the place in the car. There's like a jump seat you could push up, and a kid could hide in there. So Michael hid in there and went because he would see his father undressing.
Mhm.
And remember, we talked about Oh Father, and I said he was a gun nut, and you were like, well, one thing Dad always had was, but he always carried a gun, right? Because he
Yeah.
had that
He did.
holster
Yeah.
that went around his shoulders. So Tom Hanks would come home and he'd take one off, and he had like 4 of them, and his son, he was watching, the son is looking, and Tom Hanks shuts the door.
Mhm.
So he's curious, what does Dad do? And so he sneaks in to go to Dad's meeting. And in the meantime, he witnesses Daniel Craig executing the guy. So Daniel Craig freaks out about this, thinking this little kid's going to squeal and say who did it, and I'm going to jail. So he goes to Tom Hanks' home to kill him, to kill the kid. He winds up killing his other son, who was younger, and his wife. And Michael lives. But Tom Hanks finds out. And he goes to Paul Newman, who's really like his father. And he says, I have to have revenge.
Mhm.
And Paul Newman won't give up Daniel Craig. He just refuses the whole movie. So what Tom Hanks does is he goes on this journey and he hits banks all across the country and takes all the mob money out. He robs the banks, takes the mob money, leaves any clean money. So finally, there's a manhunt on. I know that I'm going long here,
Way long.
but it's such a good sequence. I
Just
gotta
get
set
to
it
the
up.
sequence.
So here's the
He comes
sequence.
in blasting. Like, what is it?
Well, they've got a whole army looking for Hanks now. So very dark, rainy night. It's a big mob meeting. They all come out, guys surrounding Newman because, there was fear, there was going to be retaliation. So sound goes out, right? I remember in the theater thinking something broke because the sound goes dead. And all you start seeing little flashes of light, which is the Tommy gun. The umbrellas start disintegrating and guys start dropping, and Hanks drops about, 15 to 20 guys in the street, leaves Newman alive. And then you see him walk out of the shade to the street light, and Paul Newman turns around and looks at him and says,
I'm glad it's you.
I'm glad it was you, Mike. And the sound's back, and then he just puts in at least 20 rounds in Paul Newman, and it's such a fantastic. Road to Perdition is really perdition is hell. So
Thanks.
it's really Road to Hell.
Thanks for saving us the Google search.
Yeah,
on
because
that.
I know everyone's curious, but
Yeah,
like
sure.
that out of all the movies I have, that would be my number one recommendation.
Right. You have one left, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So my second to last one is, and it's interesting because you pooped on this at the top of the episode, but this could be very controversial for a number of reasons. But
Dan getting into the controversy.
well, it's Halloween, but it's not. Which Halloween movie is it? You mentioned horror and the blood and guts, whatever. So I'm committing fully to this.
I'm thinking it's the first, but I don't know.
No, the classic original Halloween would be, I think, a little too obvious. Because you could say when when Michael Myers puts the butcher knife in the guy up on the wall and the famous head tilt.
Yeah, which
it's
they
like that.
copied.
Yeah, it's too obvious.
Oh, I think I know now.
And obviously, and honestly, didn't stick with me enough. Now,
I think
I'm
I
one
know.
of the few zombie fans out there.
Oh,
Rob
so
Zombie,
it's
that is.
Zombies Halloween.
Yes, and it's Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which a lot of people hated,
including me.
Yeah, very, very so it's a controversial pick here. However, Tyler Mane, who was Michael Myers in the 2, he was 6'9", probably 300 pounds, enormous guy. And his physicality brought so much intensity and brutality to the kills, the hits.
Yeah.
The realism of it and everything. And Rob Zombie, of course, is known for brutality and
and
gruesome deaths.
Correct. If you don't want to see gruesome, like I mentioned at the beginning,
don't watch a Rob Zombie film.
Don't watch a Rob Zombie
unless it's the Munsters, or something like that.
Yeah, he takes it to.
Yeah. So this is in Halloween 2. It's in one of the opening sequences. It's like
in Halloween 2 zombie.
Rob Zombie,
movie.
Halloween 2, yes. And it's within the first probably 15 minutes or so of the film. 2 ambulance drivers, one played by the great Richard Brake, who also had a cameo in The Mandalorian, actually.
Really?
Yeah, he was in The Mandalorian as like an Imperial officer, and he was amazing in that too. Anyways, he's an ambulance driver. They run into a cow. They crash into a cow. The car goes off the road.
Michael's in the back of the ambulance.
Michael's in the back. They're transporting him.
Correct.
Because that's worked out a lot of times before. And so Richard Brake his character's like impaled, and he's just like gasping for breath, blood coming out of everywhere. And then it's Michael Myers, the sequence of him getting out of the back of the ambulance. You see his feet just kind of come out of the ambulance, touchdown on the ground.
Mhm.
He walks around. There's a very subtle use of slow-mo by Zombie. Not too
Mhm.
much, just a little bit. He comes around the car. He picks up a piece of the broken glass from the windshield,
Mhm.
and then he just slices his head off with the piece of glass, like
Hmm.
completely saws his head off.
Right.
And, the thing about it was the special effects were amazing because he literally pulls his head up and then he's holding his head
Yeah.
before he throws. And, that usually looks very,
It
very
usually looks
ridiculous.
stupid.
It looks so real. It was scary.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked that. I've loved the Rob Zombie Halloweens
Yeah.
for a long
And
time.
I don't. I haven't. I'm
A
gonna
lot
go
of
back
people
and
don't.
watch
A
that
lot of
sequence.
people don't.
I
Yeah. I think you'd appreciate the directing of it because the suspense that he builds, and it's creepy. It's
I got
very, very
something to show
intense.
you real quick.
Okay, yeah. So if you haven't seen either of Rob Zombie's films, the first one is kind of half an homage to the original Halloween, and then it veers off, and Zombie kind of takes the story in his own direction, which is really cool. All right, so Mike's got the biggest collection you'll ever see
Okay, so
of Halloween. Yeah,
this
that's
is all the Halloweens, and I bought a custom box,
mhm.
which includes Zombie, is incarnation, but
Is
I've
it
never
on there?
shown you
Yeah.
this.
That's
This
very
is
nice.
this is all of them, and one's a bonus. I think there's a bonus. No, there isn't.
Now, Rob Zombies are in there?
Yes,
Okay, that's
every
nice.
Halloween there's the two Rob Zombies,
Including,
and
including Season of the Witch, of course.
right, 3 is in. They're all here,
Yeah,
and
that's
the
great.
custom box I got on Etsy or
Etsy. Oh,
Etsy.
I see. You bought the box and
I
put
bought
them.
the box and
That's
put it
beautiful.
because the box that
That's beautiful.
came with there was a 15 disc collection that
Yeah,
came out from it was never, there was a lot of wear and tear. This thing,
yeah.
and plus it didn't hold Zombie
Oh, that's a
or
nice,
so
nice
yeah.
package of the movies.
Okay, so
All right, so this is your last one. This is your top
well, yeah,
pick here.
you go for it. I want to end
Oh,
with
I
this.
see. Mike has
Yeah.
to. No, I think I should end with mine. But
Well,
okay.
yeah,
You
no,
think
you did
yours is
Halloween.
that good?
I
Okay.
think mine's that good.
Is it just some 1930s mob movie? If it is, I'm going last.
Okay, you'll go last.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not 1930s. It's later than that, but
All right, let's go.
it's around the time. And right now, this is
Oh, good
on
one.
sale. You just caught the title.
Great one. Yeah.
It's on sale for $23, and if you buy the non-Criterion, it's $20. So
Yeah.
get the
There's,
Criterion.
there's a very indirect connection between yours and my last one. Very, very, but you'll
Okay.
pick up on it. So.
And you know why I've dedicated this to you.
Mhm.
Stars Albert Finney, Gabriel Byrne, Marcia Gay Harden.
Did you say
John-
the title? Did you say the title already?
Yeah, I don't know if I did.
I'm not sure if you did.
Miller's Crossing,
Directed by.
directed by the Coen brothers.
Yes.
I think their third film.
Mhm.
And they got a lot of love for Blood Simple, which was their original release. But Miller's Crossing,
Yeah, was it Barton Fink? Was that the second one? No, or is it Raising
No.
Arizona? I don't even remember.
I think it was Raising Arizona,
Okay. Okay.
which I loved. I remember I was in the theater with a friend's girlfriend. We were just hanging out together, and
Mhm.
we laughed through that whole thing. But Miller's Crossing,
Yeah, so Albert Finney, Marcia Gay Harden,
John Polito.
John Polito.
Give me the
baby.
hi-hat.
Yeah, you gave me the hi hat.
I'm sick of the hi-hat with you. He takes it to another level.
So good.
But anyway, the sequence, there's some good deaths in this. But my favorite is Albert Finney laying down, enjoying a stogie. And he's got, what do they call those old record players? Victrola?
Victrola?
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Victrola, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah, with
yeah.
the
There's-
the logo with the dog and all that.
Right.
Oh, that was
it's got-
RCA, but Victrola, yeah.
But it's got like a big horn.
Yes.
Right? But it's a record player. So playing is Danny Boy. Oh, Danny Boy.
Yes.
And while it's playing, you see the gangsters that are set to kill Albert Finney.
Mhm.
come in, the Coen brothers focus only on the, below the knees. So you
Right.
just see their feet almost in syncopation coming up the stairs, and you can feel the tension building. And as they're getting higher, all of a sudden, Albert Finney puts out the cigar, rolls to the floor, and when they enter the room, all you see the shot from under the bed, and you see the four legs, and he just starts blasting their
That
legs.
was some more Tommy gun action.
Right. And while he's blasting them, they go nuts, because they're so hurt. They wind up blasting each other with the Tommy guns.
Right.
So they're dead. Albert Finney picks up the Tommy gun, chucks it out the window. And Albert Finney's like 65, 70 at the time. He dives out the window, grabs onto the vent, and drops to the ground, grabs the Tommy gun, and gets the getaway car.
Mhm.
So it's like a reverse kill, a reverse,
Yeah.
the guys didn't kill him. He wound up reversing it. But
Yeah.
that sequence, and the whole time, Danny Boy is playing, and they've got it synced so good
Mhm.
that the song ends with the scene. It's just,
It's hard to believe it's not in my collection. I just haven't bought the digital,
yeah,
which,
you got to get it.
but and I haven't seen it for so long. It was like 1990, I think, or 91, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
Somewhere right around
it's
there.
been a while, but
Yeah.
the other thing is John Turturro. That would have been an easy one to pick, right? Because
Yes.
John,
In the woods.
look into your heart.
Yeah, they got John Turturro's character in the woods, and he's on his knees begging for his life, and
and Gabriel
Yeah.
Byrne
I
is
can't-
supposed to kill him.
I can't die out here like a dog, like a
Right.
cheap animal, or whatever he says.
Look
Yeah.
into your heart. Look into
Yeah.
your heart.
Yeah.
And then he does it a second time, and the second time isn't the charm. So
Yeah, that's a good one. That's not one I probably would have even picked.
yeah.
Now, I struggled with this. Again, this is not really a fair list. Any of these top lists are hard to
Right. They're
You know,
they're
narrowed down.
they're subjective.
even with the caveat that these are movies in our collection, right?
Correct.
So,
And
And
I
I
think
thought-
the five I gave are brilliant films.
oh yeah, great picks, and I stand by my picks thus far. I I thought, geez, how can I not have a Stallone pick somewhere in here? My boy
Yeah,
Sly, and
You're
I
a
thought,
big Stallone guy.
I thought Rambo, that's got to be easy. Maybe from the original First Blood, there might be something. Okay, well, that wasn't to be.
Okay.
So this might
Honorable mention?
no, not even honorable. Actually, the only honorable mention I had, which was kind of a weak one, but it's just a scene that it is a hit. It does fall into this category. It's a death, certainly. Was Braveheart with Mel Gibson? His
Yeah.
death at the guillotine, and
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the
or
death
not the
where he-
guillotine, but it was actually he got his head chopped
Right.
off.
I thought you were going to be when he got retribution for
No, but that would have been a better sequence, honestly. But there's so
Yeah.
many hits.
exactly. It's a great movie.
But anyways, it wasn't Braveheart. Now, this is not a gratuitous pick just because
Is Stallone in it?
he is not. He is
Okay.
not.
All right.
But who is in it is Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is in this film. Now, I didn't pick this film just because some of the folks associated have been kind to the podcast.
yeah.
And this will surprise you, and I'm sure surprise anybody watching. But I would even say maybe number one hit on this
Wow.
list
Okay.
is from the movie Fat Man,
I that was on my early
which
list.
I do have an autographed copy of that. I should have
right.
held it up,
We
but
both and I have
you've got it
two.
nearby. Yeah.
Correct.
But so the scene is now, this is Walton Goggins plays Skinny Man,
Mhm.
and Mel Gibson plays Chris, or Santa Claus, basically.
And who I don't think you mentioned the
So the-
director's name. You
yeah, the
referred to
writers and
them,
the writers and directors, Ian and Esham Nelms, the Nelms
who are going to win an
brothers.
Academy Award.
And we had compared them to the Coen brothers on this show before, and we said,
Yeah.
they're very much kind of in that vein. And so it's a sequence towards the end of the film where there's basically this OK Corral kind of shootout between Walton Goggins and Mel Gibson's characters.
Mhm.
It is so beautifully shot and so beautifully lit. To give a shout out to Johnny Durango.
Johnny
The
Durango.
cinematography on this film is second to none. It is a masterpiece.
Yes.
But it for me, it comes down to the sequence where again, spoiler alert, but the final climax of that sequence where Walton Goggins shoves a knife blade that he's got on his strapped to his leg
Mhm.
through Mel Gibson's back, through his chest, comes through his
Right.
chest.
Right.
And then after that, Mel Gibson rolls over, and he's on his back. And then Goggins just with a silencer on a pistol shoots him right in the head.
Mhm.
And, he's not begging for his life. But he knows he's about to die.
Right.
It's just, it's so unexpected in a movie. The movie is just brilliant from
It's a
top to
great
bottom. But
that
you
was
wouldn't expect that in a film like this,
right. That's I
unless if
don't
you hadn't
even
seen
know
it.
how that movie got into our rotation. I think we
Well, I
saw
saw the trailer.
yeah, I think
I saw the trailer,
so
and
you
I
caught the
said to you, "You gotta
trailer.
see this."
Right.
It's this, like, weird twist on a Santa Claus tale that just looks and I sent you the trailer, and then before you know it, we saw the film, and
And then
the
we
rest
had the
is history.
brothers on our
Yeah, the
show.
brothers, they were one of the first interviews we ever did.
Right. And this is Fat Man, and it's like December 22nd or something like that. It was like 3 days before Christmas, and they were generous. They gave us an hour
It was amazing.
plus,
It was amazing. Yeah, it was
and
amazing.
that was and Johnny Durango also has been on the show.
Yep.
Other, actors that are in their movies frequently. I
Mhm.
thought Small Town Crime was on my
Yeah.
early list.
Yeah, and I thought about that. I
And
thought
it
about
was
that.
James Lafferty was a hitman, and there's a chase towards the end in the dark, and somebody shoots him in the jaw,
Yeah.
and his jaw's hanging off,
Yeah.
and he just kinda holds it up and keeps it going.
It's so brutal. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so
that's a
brutal.
brutal one too, but the Nelms brothers, I love
The
them.
the Fat Man, that sequence is it's just so poetic, and, again, I can't say enough about the filmmaking. Not only the entire film, but that sequence is just it's
And
it's
our
it's beautiful.
reaction to it,
It's beautiful.
like I think many was at first was confusion. Because I
Yeah.
remember you said we did the episode, I think you said, "Holy sh,"
Yeah.
probably the first swear on the show,
Yeah.
and, but man, it's just a great movie if you haven't seen it.
It's a
Small
great one.
Town Crime is almost equal to the task. Like I
Well,
said, these guys are future
yeah. Oh, yeah.
future
And
stars.
yeah,
I mean, they're
absolutely.
current stars, but they're
Yeah.
gonna go through
Yeah,
the
future
roof.
stars.
Yeah.
They've got their next feature film that's, hopefully gonna be coming out in the not too distant
Yeah, I'm
future, so
dying to,
but this was not a gratuitous suck up trying to
no,
it's not an advertisement for the Nelms, but we love
we're
their
big fans.
yeah, we
Just
love
like
their
the
art.
Coen brothers.
Yeah.
Joel and Ethan Coen.
And it was me, honestly, it was me scrolling through my library,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Okay," and then I'm trying to think of what's in and then I stumble on Fab. I said, "Oh, man, there's that brilliant sequence." And honestly, it's very similar to The Unforgiven, even though it's not William Money taking out a whole bar full of goons. It's a
Right.
one-on-one battle, but it's very similar in the sense that it's like a Western. It's
Yeah.
like a Western. It's shot like a Western.
That's the thing. The movie's so brilliant. There's just things that seem out of place. It's kind of like,
Mhm.
like a John Cassavetes kind of film where there or Lynch. What's his first name?
David
David
Lynch.
Lynch. Yeah. It's like a
Yeah.
David Lynch film, but it's so unique you can't really compare it to anything else,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Well,
I remember you found that, you sent it to me.
yeah.
I got the Blu-ray before Christmas. It wasn't supposed to come out till
Yeah,
after.
and now it's on the annual rotation.
It
You know,
is.
It's like it's a must watch every
And
every
if
season.
I ever see it on cable,
Yeah.
I stop and
Yeah.
that's my night.
So Fat Man rounds us out.
All
It's
right.
it's kind of appropriate, kind of poetic itself, but well, there
By
you
the
go,
way,
folks.
I
Yeah.
meant to mention Road to Perdition, which is,
Yeah.
I told you, my number one pick,
Right. Right.
directed by Sam Mendes,
Oh yeah, good mention. Yeah.
James
Yeah,
Bond
absolutely.
fame, et
Yep.
cetera, et cetera, et
There
cetera.
you go.
All right.
Top 5 hits, folks. There you go. Our top 5 hits. What are your top 5
Yeah.
hits? Let us know in the comments. What are your
Right.
top 5 hits as we've defined them? These could be films in your movie collection, or they could just be your favorite hits, whether you own the film or not.
And do you disagree with ours? Do you think,
Yeah, or agree. Either way.
right.
But, let us know what your top 5 hits are in the comments. We'd love
Yeah,
to we'd love to
love
get the
to.
feedback from you. But that's going to do it for another episode of the Oh Brother Podcast. I've been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. And we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.